a few, so I will call three at a time. First is we'd like to welcome Palm Beach County Mayor Melissa McKinley, Mayor Thomas Masters, Justin Katz. All right. And I think Mr. Masters left, so James Gravelos. So, welcome, Mayor.
Good evening. Thank you for adding me at the last minute. Just a couple of comments I wanted to make before you all today. I have the honor of representing a lot of the Western communities, and actually all of the Western communities in Palm Beach County. This past weekend, Ms. Andrews and I joined forces on a tour of churches in the Glades, and what we're hearing from the community is the need for a community center. The city of Belglade has asked the legislature to help them fund the construction of a new community center, but they needed a location for that. If she hasn't asked you already, I will make the first ask. We are asking you to consider donating the site of the old Gove Elementary School to the city of Belglade so they can start this much needed project in our community. You know, we spent a lot of time tonight talking about the need to protect our children in our schools. We need to make sure they're protected after school, and this would go a long way in that community and being able to provide that. So hopefully Ms. Andrews will be bringing back some detail to you, but just wanted to voice my support for that project and hope we can move forward. Second, I just, as a parent, I really want to thank you, especially you, Dr. Avosa, for all of the phone calls and the reassuring messages on social media to the families. We're having 2 students still in our public schools. I get the pleasure of getting 2 phone calls every time. I know this 434-8400 number by heart now. Realize I can delete one and save the other, but really that went a long way in reassuring me that my children were safe. My children go to Forest Hill High School. I have to tell you that Dr. Mary Stratos, my second child, just got her second letter of admission to a college that came along with a scholarship offer, and I give Dr. Stratos a lot of credit for guiding my children, holding their hand through the process of getting through high school, which isn't always easy. She's definitely a gem that you have in your system. And lastly, I just want to offer, and especially to the Student Government Association representatives that are here today, that West Palm Beach City Commissioner Corey Nearing and I will be joining hands next week on February 28th at the Summit Library. We will be doing a community meeting and asking the students to sit with us. It will be held from 6 to 8 p.m. And we're asking them to come forward with requests on county programs that we can, and city programs that we can put in place in our parks and our libraries and our youth empowerment centers to make sure we're meeting their needs. But we're also asking them to give us legislative proposals that he and I can work with our legislative affairs teams in crafting bills for them for Tallahassee and for Washington. So that will be, again, February 28th at 6 p.m. at the Summit Library. And just want to thank you all for your partnership with the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Katz.
Thank you. What I'll say tonight, I'll say as an individual, not as the president of the Palm Beach County Classroom Teachers Association, because on normal occurrences, I never find myself at a loss for words, and I'm not in that position tonight, but I do feel myself at a loss for appropriate words in a public setting to describe my faith in the legislature for acting in good faith to address the issues that we have to face every day and have to acknowledge, obviously, in the wake of what happened last week. I agree with everyone that we need to advocate and lobby for the legislature to allocate additional resources. I'll just be as blunt as possible. I have no faith that they will do it in a meaningful way. I sat and watched yesterday as they debated in the Senate Education Committee allocating funds for mental resources, funds for mental resource services in schools, and watched people quibble over the amount of detail in the accountability of the use of those funds within the schools, as if they do not trust us to use those funds in a responsible manner in the wake of this tragedy. I watched in the Florida House as they refused to allow a discussion about assault rifles, just a discussion, not a vote to ban or restrict them. I watched that occur and fail, while simultaneously the Florida House voted to deem pornography a public health crisis in the state of Florida. It's as absurd as it is disappointing, and because of my personal lack of faith in their willingness to address the needs of the school systems, they regularly underfund us. We're constantly ranked in the low 40s out of the 50 states in terms of per student funding. I think that, and I know that through your closed door session today, I think that you're taking a right step. We need to acknowledge that while it would be nice for the legislature to do their job, to take care of us, to take care of our students, to protect our employees, that it may not happen. And if it happens, it may happen in a less than meaningful way in terms of the amount of resources. I would urge you, and I as a resident of Palm Beach County, as a city commissioner in the city of Boynton Beach, as the president of the Palm Beach County Classroom Teachers Association, will work and do anything I can to support your efforts through the budgetary process to either find additional resources in our current budget or seek additional resources by any means necessary, because it is just, again, it is shameful to watch what happens in Tallahassee, and all I can think is that a year from now, it will not be a discussion point. They are almost done session, a couple more weeks, and then they go home, and I think that a year from now, this will not be, unless, God forbid, there's another tragedy, an issue that they take in earnest at the next full session. So again, I urge you, the superintendent, whoever comes in behind him, the board, everyone, and the community, to work together to identify local solutions, because as much as I wish that Tallahassee would do their job, their repeated failure to do so cannot be ignored. And I think that something this serious cannot rely exclusively on hope. We need to act, and we need to step up for the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Chairman Shaw, members of the board, Dr. Avosa. Over the last few months, as I've begun my tenure as the CEO of the Education Foundation, I've tried to give you an overview of the various programs that we run. And tonight I'm going to practice the 3 B's of public speaking: be concise, be brief, and be gone. I hope that as we sort of pivot at the Ed Foundation, you will begin to see us as more than just a funder. As someone who goes out and raises money and funds creative teacher programs, we've recently begun focusing on really helping our teachers, who I believe are our greatest resource. And Justin, I've said that to you in past meetings. Our teachers are simply warriors in the field, and they need all of the support, care, and attention that we as a foundation can give them. 2 examples will suffice. As I've mentioned before, we're trying to radically increase the amount that we give away through our Go Teach grant program. Well, this year we're actually going to do 2 grant writing seminars for the teachers on April 5th and on April 19th, and their final project will be to finish the grant that they're going to submit on their way out the door so we can give them the money. Again, it's just one extra tool we can put in their toolbox to help them carry out their job. I recently deployed our program manager, Ms. Jennifer Etheridge, who spent 11 years as head of school at Pace School for Girls. Many of you know that school and the high-risk students they serve. She went out to Pahokee Middle School 2 days in a row and conducted a seminar for the teachers on serving students who come from high-risk, high-poverty backgrounds and the behavioral issues they bring to the table and ways that you can mitigate some of that. So your Education Foundation, which is the way I close every presentation, serving the needs of the teachers, schools, and students in the finest district in the state of Florida, I want you to realize we are much more than just a grant-making organization or a fundraising group. We're out there with the teachers, standing with them, giving them all of the love, support, care, and attention we can to make sure they have the tools, both professional, financial, and resource and capital, to carry out their most sacred function, taking care of our kids. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dr. DeAndre Poole, Robbie Littles. Dr. Poole.
Good evening, board members and Superintendent Avosa. I want to take a few moments to share with you. I know there was a meeting earlier about the superintendent search, but I want to give some general comments. As members of the Coalition for Black Student Achievement, the organization I represent, our purpose is to ensure that all black students in Palm Beach County get the opportunity and assistance they need to make themselves successful in school and in life. And many of you know the history of the coalition, so I won't go any further than that. But I want to add that when Dr. Vosa was hired, in his engagement and communications entry plan, and I'm going to quote the superintendent, "Public schools require deep commitment from the entire community to be successful. It is critical that I understand the culture, history, and expectations of the entire community. Working with staff, I will be proactive and deliberate in reaching out to all stakeholders, particularly those who are traditionally underrepresented in public engagement, to ensure their voices are included and valued." CBSA supported the superintendent's expressed belief and commitment, and he kept his word. We also recognize that as stakeholders that our past efforts, for example, Achievement Matters for All plan, have not been as successful as we wish because the school district lacks an authentic and sustained approach for identifying and eliminating structural and cultural bias that negatively impact student achievement of our black children. There has been a great deal of work around equity and access, and we applaud these efforts and are grateful to the superintendent, his team, and board members for having the courage to deal with issues of race and addressing learning outcomes for our black students. And as I close, we are also enthusiastic about this process, once again, about partnering with you as we move forward to select the next superintendent. And make no mistake, and I have to be clear with this, make no mistake that all across this country, black folks across this country are still in a struggle for social justice and equality. And it's no matter what education you have, you still have to deal with stuff in this country. The coalition will be providing you with our recommendations in the weeks ahead, and we will be holding community forums in Delray, Boynton Beach, and Riviera Beach, and we will be partnering with our community partner, Unify, who we will be partnering with to do that, as well as hosting the candidates as well for various meet and greets to get to know them better and to hear from them what their plans are to help our kids. And I'll leave you with this quote: "Ultimately, the success of our black children will be determined not by our individual efforts, but rather by our collective will." Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Poole. Mr. Littles.
Good evening, members of the school board and superintendent. I am Robbie Littles, president of the Bridge Builders of Palm Beach County. We are here seeking redress from racism and racist acts perpetrated against African American people in Palm Beach County by the school board of Palm Beach County. In the early 70s, the Palm Beach County School Board directed that all black high schools, Roosevelt and West Palm, Carver High and Delray, Lakeshore and Belglade, and John F. Kennedy and Riviera Beach, be downgraded to junior high schools. Simultaneously with those dastard acts, the board directed that all white high schools would remain high schools. In the 2000s, this school board has the unmitigated gall to continue its racist treatment toward black people. This school board, while constructing current Suncoast High in Riviera Beach, made a decision to build a Riviera Beach Community High School at the old site, now housing Inlet Grove High, once the new Suncoast was opened. The school board placed the construction of the new Riviera Beach Community High on the 2016-2017 construction calendar and appropriated funds for the school to be built. This school board, with the assistance of the city of Riviera Beach, purchased additional land west of Old Suncoast to accommodate the new Riviera Beach Community High School. Subsequent to those formal acts of construction authorization and appropriations, the school board surreptitiously and maliciously ordered the building of the new Riviera Beach Community High School to be taken off of the construction calendar and transferred most if not all of the money, to Boca Raton. Members of the school board, we think that because Riviera Beach is a city which is 68% black, racist inclinations drive you to ensuring that it is the only major city in Palm Beach County without a comprehensive community high school. Your board actions eliminate any other rational option. Don't attempt to say that Suncoast High is a Riviera Beach community high school, given that for the school year ending in June 2016, only 75 students out of approximately 1,500 students at Suncoast lived in Riviera Beach. Your actions, we think, intentionally drain the spirit, pride, and camaraderie from the children and students of Riviera Beach. Your actions and the absence of a Riviera Beach community high school put the Palm Beach Gardens High, William T. Dwyer High, Palm Beach Lakes High, and Oxbridge Academy on the map athletically. Their championship teams prosper from the blood, sweat, and tears of Riviera Beach's black people. Our children are the immigrants seeking sanctuary schools. Black people in Riviera Beach pay their school district taxes, but have no high school for our children to attend. This has to change, and it has to change now. Let's talk about the board taking action to move immediately forward with building a comprehensive community high school in Riviera Beach. Give me a call, get with the bridge builders, and let's make it happen. Thank you kindly.
Thank you, Mr. Littles. That concludes our speakers, delegates, and elected